Hey, everybody. I'm thirsty. Welcome, everybody. It's the horror season.
Ooh!
The horror.
The horror.
It's the horror. It's the horror season. So we decided we're going to be talking about some underrated horror films.
Yeah, some horror films that we think are underrated, whether or not they actually are. I don't know. There's no benchmark for that term underrated. We didn't know if we should call this horror hidden gems or underrated. So we're just going to do horror movies or Halloween movies or whatever that we think don't get talked about as much as they should.
It's a good explanation.
Yeah.
Not to come off as pretentious, but compared to the average movie fan, I'd say we watch more than most.
We watch a lot, so like you said, it's not like, oh, we're so much better than everyone else. It's just, we take in a lot of horror movies and, whatever.
But some of the things that we're going to talk about, we just feel like haven't been talked about.
Right,
so we want to enlighten you on some of these films and talk about why we think you should see them.
And of course, we'd like to hear your feedback and any movies down in the comments that, you might think are underappreciated or whatever, what you think about the ones we're going to talk about.
Did you want to go ahead and start?
No, but you can.
Okay. Well, my first film takes me back to the days. You remember the good old days back like 3 years ago when Best Buy would have horror films, like a whole horror section?
Believe it or not, you youngins, back in the day, you used to be able to go into Best Buy and look through the movie selection.
Yes, and now sadly it's down to one aisle.
Yep.
But back in the good old days, at the bottom of the aisle, they would have some of the smaller films that you may have never heard of. There was a film I came across called We Are Still Here.
Okay.
From 2015. The cover captured my attention. Go ahead and take a look at this cover right here.
Yeah. I've seen it on Netflix.
Oh, have you?
I think I've scrolled past it 500 times.
Well, hopefully after this you won't. This is a 2015 film, and it is probably about as indie as it gets. It's only an hour and a half, so you'd enjoy it.
Fuck Hollywood, go indie.
It tells the story of this family. They just lost a child. They moved to this new home, and I believe it's Massachusetts. And, like many films, it's haunted.
Okay.
But something that's different about this is just the way that it's shot. It's in the same way of, like, You're Next. It's got these low-budget actors in it.
Okay.
One of the actresses is in it. Barbara Crampton, she's in a ton of horror things. She's in From Beyond. She's in
Castle Freak.
Reanimator.
Yeah.
Chopping Mall. So she's kind of a veteran to the horror genre.
I love Chopping Mall.
I don't. I think I like Slaughter High a little more.
Sorry, but what's not fun about a bunch of teenagers in a mall with fucking robots that are shooting them up and...
I don't know. I guess maybe it's the robot aspect. Maybe I wanted a creature or something.
Well, too bad.
Anyways, basically what happens is they're haunted by these people that were burned alive. These miners. It was like a mining city. Anyway, what's good about it are the scares. The makeup is like seriously good for a budget that this film had. And the ending is it's epic.
Cool.
It's almost kind of in the same vein of Frankenstein with the whole village converging on them. They know of the secret, but they come and converge on this house. And some of the kills that are performed in this film are just fucking excellent.
Now, this is good because I'm glad we're doing this because, like I said, I've scrolled past that movie. I've seen that cover countless times.
Yeah.
So now I'm actually kind of intrigued. I want to watch it.
I do very much enjoy it. A little campy at times.
Nothing wrong with that.
But it's definitely a fun, underrated sort of horror film.
Well, the thing with a lot of these, like horror movies in general, how many of them are actually scary? I can maybe name 5 movies that are genuinely scary, but if they're fun and they have good effects or whatever, good practical effects, then, they're a good horror movie.
Right.
So I'll check it out. Cool. Okay, so my first one, I don't know if this is underappreciated or whatever. I love this movie. It's actually a Scream Factory title, but I feel like it doesn't really get talked about.
I would still call those underrated.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They have the big popular ones, but this one I feel like a lot of people maybe haven't seen. Gingersnaps, 2000 Canadian horror movie, I guess.
2000?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This movie's almost 20 years old, which is kind of crazy. This is one of those movies that really does a good job of like capturing the kind of Halloween spirit. It's good Halloween visuals and stuff. But
I do like those type of films.
yeah, really fun movie. These two sisters, they're really kind of like goth and kind of downers. They dress in black, and they're just, those people. We all know those people, but they're kind of the same. They're very similar. Into some weird stuff. They're out one night, and one of the sisters gets attacked. Come to find out, it's a werewolf. So this is a werewolf movie, and as you can expect, the one sister gradually starts to feel the effects of
puberty.
Her transformation. And yes, actually, this movie, as you just mentioned, it's kind of a metaphor for transitioning into adulthood and puberty, and
mostly from the woman's side.
Yeah, it's it's female perspective definitely, but genuinely a blast. I love this movie. The effects are great when the girl turns in full-fledged into a werewolf. It's really badass, and there's some good kills and just a good vibe to the film. So Gingersnaps right up there for me in the werewolf genre. It's a blast. I love it.
I'll have to check it out again.
Yeah, you probably won't like it again.
Next up for me is a film that came out, I believe, last year. It says 2017, but, with these indie films, you're never really sure. And that's The Ritual.
Oh, okay. It's a Netflix film?
It is a Netflix film.
Okay.
Okay, so this is another one of those... It just seems like there's a gang of these horror people. You've got your...
Please explain this movie to me, because I didn't know what the hell was going on in it.
Well, that's the thing about film. You don't have to know what's going on all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why multiple viewings are good.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's this little group cult of these horror filmmakers, your Adam Wingard, those kind of guys.
Right.
You can tell the sort of movie it is when you watch it. And this is one of them. I got a lot of Blair Witch vibes from this. You've seen it, right?
Blair Witch Project or Blair Witch?
Okay, Blair Witch Project.
Okay.
Not because of the quality, just there's a scene when they go into a cabin. There's a lot of creepy stuff going on. You don't really know what's happening.
Well, that's high praise, because to me, the Blair Witch Project is one of the scariest films ever.
Well, that's true. This one does show a lot more, especially near the end.
Okay.
A little bit of a synopsis. Rafe Spall, who I do like as an actor from Hot Fuzz, that you don't like.
Nobody has to. They don't care that I don't like it.
He's from Hot Fuzz, but I do like him as an actor and other things. He goes through a traumatic experience where basically he didn't man up in a situation, and it sits with him the whole time. It kind of transitions with them going through the forest, and it's really interesting how the transitions kind of come up in the real life scenario of going through the forest. But there's a creepy vibe going on the whole time, and it's The Ritual. It's a culty sort of film.
Culty.
Yeah, and I like the design of the creature.
Yeah.
Like I said, I couldn't tell. It's probably based on some sort of mythology.
I watched this, and when you finally get to that, I thought that part was pretty well done, but it was just the stuff beforehand I kind of struggled with. Yeah, it's I don't know. I'd give it another whirl, though, I
Slow
guess.
burn,
yeah,
for sure. But I thought the way it all panned out, I enjoyed it.
I can definitely see why you would think that is underappreciated. It's, I've heard some good things about it.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, so like we said, you can check it out whenever you want.
Yeah, The Ritual. All right, next up for me is a film from 1989. I actually just discovered this a couple years back, and it's really, I've watched it twice now.
Okay.
In the 2 years, so...
Twice in 30 years, that's good.
Yeah, well, twice since I've discovered it. The movie is Intruder, 1989. It's actually produced by Sam Raimi.
Okay.
Everyone knows him, Evil Dead.
Who?
Never heard of him. Sam Raimi produced this movie. Fun sort of, I don't know, it's kind of a whodunit slasher.
Okay.
It's this group of people. They're in this, little supermarket, grocery store, kind of a smaller one. And they're the business is being sold, so all these employees are there at night, and they're working on stocking this, or I don't know, I can't remember exactly what they're doing, but they're working on the inventory at night, and just gradually they start being killed off, and you get some really cool gory death scenes here. So it's fun.
Is it a creature or what?
Well, you're trying to figure out.
Okay.
It's implied that it's a person doing it.
It's an intruder.
Yeah, intruder, and you're trying to figure out who is responsible for this. This is one of those, like I just said. Is it scary? No, but it's a freaking blast. It's the supermarket, and I don't know, just that vibe. They're kind of in a confined space, and it's a lot of fun. So
Nice.
Intruder, I enjoyed a lot.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of one-word titles for films, I have one. It's called Demon.
Ah,
I don't know how you ever expect to get your film found when you call it something like that. So
it's
generic.
very generic.
This is actually, I think Dave told me about the trailer for this, which is very bizarre.
Wow, because he only watches Captain America.
He doesn't watch small films.
Huh.
This is a 2015 film from a director. He's Polish, so please excuse me. His name is Marcin Rona.
He said that wrong. Loser.
Well, one of the things that is mildly interesting about this is a little bit of the backstory to this film. So during the circuit of promoting it, the guy was a little upset that he wasn't getting awards. He started to become depressed.
Wow.
So the director killed himself while promoting this film.
Because it wasn't being received the way he
That's
thought.
from what I read. Yeah, it wasn't. It was received well, but he
Yikes.
wasn't winning awards. He wasn't getting what he wanted. There's obviously some more to it.
That adds kind of a whole nother creepy element to it.
Yeah, so it is bizarre, but it's basically the story of this couple. They met online, and the first time they meet, they get married. While it's going on, the guy is backhoeing in the backyard and comes across a skeleton.
Oh, okay.
So that skeleton ends up possessing him. It's like this folk tale, almost in the same way as The Witch.
Okay.
It's based on folklore of
Cool.
Dibuk, which is like a demon in Polish. It's humorous at times too, pretty dark comedy.
Cool.
It's just like a really dark and disturbing sort of film. One that's hard to find because of how underrated and indie it is.
Wow. You just really dug deep for that movie.
But I would at least suggest checking out the trailer and then finding out for yourself if you think it's good.
I haven't even heard of that movie, so.
Yeah, it is foreign. They do speak English in it, but it's foreign. So.
Cool. All right, next up for me, 2014 film. I can't remember where I first saw this. I think I might have rented it on Amazon or something when it first came out. It's called The House is October Built. I do feel like people have heard of this one at least.
I haven't.
Well, what do I know? I'm a fan of the found footage genre. I think a lot of them suck, but
Yeah.
I do like the genre and some of the original takes on it. This is one of those. It's a group of friends. They're kind of traveling around in this big RV, and they're like Halloween enthusiasts. They're all about going to these haunted houses, haunted attractions. When I say haunted houses, I mean like a staged haunted house you would go to with actors and stuff like that.
Okay.
So they're kind of on this journey going to all these haunted houses, and there's this one in particular that they've heard about that they're trying to make their way to, and they get to this attraction, things kind of take a turn for the worse. They're involved in some pretty shady stuff when the line between reality and fiction is kind of blurred, and
Interesting.
there's some interesting things going on. It's creepy. I don't know, I'm a big Halloween junkie. I love the season. I love going to haunted houses, and I've been to some of these, and some of them are genuinely creepy. It's that whole kind of thing where, okay, yeah, somebody's in a mask, but shit, you don't know who these people are that are jumping out and scaring you. You never know what could happen at a place like this. So this is fun. It kind of tackles that whole subject of haunted attractions, and it's really cool shot. Found footage, kind of first person with a camera. So. I don't know. It's a lot of fun. I would highly recommend it. There's actually a sequel to The House is October Built 2. Haven't seen that one, but I'm kind of curious.
Nice. Have to check it out.
Yeah.
All right. A couple more here. I am going to be talking a little bit more about comedy horrors at this point. Got two here.
Good. I've got one too to talk about.
Cool. So I think you've seen this one from 2015, The Final Girls.
No.
You haven't seen this?
I haven't seen it.
I swore I thought you did. I thought we were going to be able to have a back and forth.
Sorry, we don't do back and forth discussion here.
Okay, so this one has Thaisa Farmiga in it.
It's kind of weird how her sister's like 30 years older than she is, though.
It is kind of bizarre, but don't judge. You don't know how their family is.
No, I'd like them both.
I do too. But anyway, it's kind of a bizarre film, a little surreal. You have to expend some believability. Basically,
You usually do in the horror genre.
well, her mother is, excuse me, I still don't know how to pronounce her name, Malin Ackerman.
Oh, ooh.
Yes, and she was a big horror film star when she was younger.
She's so good in Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
You boys gonna fuck me now or what?
You'll have to put that clip in right here.
Are you boys gonna fuck me now or what?
Rock, paper, scissors, see who goes first. Ready?
Anyway, like I said, her mom was a big horror film star growing up, like in the 80s slasher genre. And she dies at the beginning of the movie, so no spoilers.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
So basically what happens is her and her friends, Thaisa and her friends, are transported back in time and they're in a horror movie.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little satirical on a lot of the tropes
Sure.
from the films of that age and that genre. And it's surprisingly heartfelt.
Cool.
Her mom, she sees her mom in this vision or whatever it is, and it's seriously like it's entertaining, it's fun, it's funny.
So are there like kills and stuff in this? Do you
There
get like
are.
some gory kills?
You do, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's just like a slasher film, but in the sense of like a horror comedy.
Okay.
Where it's making fun of it at the same time.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it's genuinely entertaining and like I said, at the same time heartfelt and a lot of different genres in one. So
Cool.
I thought it was good.
Cool. Fuck this shit. Fuck this shit.
I know I'm about to turn it off too, and it's tied.
All right, well, since we're going to do some horror comedy, got another one here that I love to watch. Watch it every year around the Halloween season. 1999, it's Idle Hands.
Okay, never seen it.
Never seen it. Okay, this is one of those films that really captures the 90s and what the 90s were all about. It's just so...
Cheesy.
Yeah, it's so 90s. A lot of familiar faces in here, though. Devon Sawa, who was, of course, Mr. 90s himself, Devon Sawa. Jessica Alba's in this. You know, there's quite a few people. Seth Green.
Mr. 90s himself.
Yeah, so Mr. 90s himself. So anyways, really goofy concept. Devon Sawa, his hand ends up getting possessed. So this sounds stupid. And it is stupid. But, it's the comedic elements. His friends are trying to figure out what's going on with him. And, his hand is just, like, out of control. And it's doing all this crazy shit. And, I don't know, it's a lot of fun. It's goofy. But, again, this is a movie that really captures the Halloween vibe.
Okay.
And I love that with these movies. If a movie, like, has a Halloween party in it, it's usually like I'm into it.
Okay.
I love movies that are like, all about the Halloween festivities. This is one of them. It's just it's a lot of fun. It's goofy. It's kind of a horror stoner comedy.
Oh.
This one, unlike the Final Girls, there's not really a whole lot that's actually scary about it, but it is classified as a horror movie, so it's fun. Okay. Idle Hands. The film was a critical and commercial failure, grossing a little over $4 million from an estimated $25 million budget.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably underrated or
Since
under.
it's become achieved a cult following.
All right, last one's here. Ooh, it's a hot one in here.
Ooh, man, we got lights beating down on us, man.
The Life of a Star.
Ooh, it's important to drink your water, folks. Oh, man.
All right, so my last film, I think it's the oldest on my list, from 2010, is another horror comedy, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Whew. This is another one I found on streaming services.
This might be the most popular of the films that
I
are
think
talking
so,
about here.
but I think it's still one that's underappreciated just
Right.
because people don't talk about it. When I went into it, I thought it was just a straight horror, but it stars, what's his name? Stars Tyler Laban. You might know him if you saw him, and then Alan Tudyk. They're these two bumbling hillbillies from the backcountry and
From the bayou.
and these snobby preppy kids come to I think they're coming to camp, and basically what it is, it's a play on and a satire of the cabin genre, like the cabin horror genre.
Cool.
Basically what's happening is it's a story of mistaken identity where these kids are basically accidentally killing themselves to where all their friends think these two bumbling hillbillies are killing them.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a satire of that genre, but in a way where these idiots who are trying to be nice and trying to help
Okay.
are being blamed for the deaths of these friends. I will say that one of the friends in it, I don't know her name, but it's Miss Tasty from Sex Drive.
Katrina Bowen. Or Bowen.
Man, she is spicy. But it's a hilarious film, satirical, dumb humor. It's a good time. I think there's talks of a sequel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard a lot about this movie, actually, and I know people really like it, so...
Yeah, it's a hilarious film. I think if you're into horror comedies and dumb humor in a way, you'd find enjoyment.
Cool. It's on Netflix, I believe.
I think so.
It's been on there forever.
Yeah.
It's always streaming.
Yeah.
All right, last up for me, I'm going to kick it back to some actual horror, some scary stuff.
Ooh.
Well, I don't know. I think
It's creepy.
It's creepy. 2016, Terrifier. New entry into the clown genre that has just been beaten to death, but
Yeah.
this one is good. I believe this was a spin-off from a short film or a anthology part of the film All Hallows Eve,
Okay.
which featured this character Art the Clown, and they ended up turning it into a full-fledged feature.
I think you're right, yeah.
So, simple premise, these chicks are being terrorized by Art the Clown, and let me tell you, I've seen a lot of these clown movies, and they're usually not creepy. Like, the clowns are just goofy.
Yeah.
Even it's like, it's fun, but I don't know if it's creepy or
Right.
scary. Art the Clown is genuinely pretty spooky, I think.
He's pretty terrifying, and I think what makes him very terrifying is he's mute.
Yeah. Nothing comes out of his mouth.
It's almost like loosely watching a Chaplin film.
Right.
Because he's a mute clown doing all these like strange
Yeah.
mannerisms and
Yeah.
things. It's unsettling.
There is a part, and this is when I was hooked on this movie. It's right towards the beginning. The two girls are at this restaurant. They've been out drinking or whatever. They're like having some pizza. He comes walking in, and he just stares at them. And
Yeah.
these chicks are sitting there, and they're just like, the camera keeps cutting to him. He's doing these weird, he's like, doing these weird poses. And
That part's awesome.
yeah, so like when I was watching, I'm like, okay, this is pretty bizarre. And then of course it all unravels from there. It just gets crazy and some really gnarly kills. One particular one where the girl's hung upside down and he cuts her all the way down the middle.
Bone tomahawk.
Yeah, from the groin to straight through.
That sucked.
Yeah, pretty gnarly kills. It's just a lot of fun. I mean, it's over the top. It's ridiculous, but I've really grown to like really love this movie in terms of like new horror, and it's just so much fun.
Yeah, I need to check it out again. I thought, other than the clown, it was kind of bare.
Yeah.
But I thought that the clown was just
Right.
terrifying.
Yeah.
And some gnarly kills, like you said.
A lot of fun. That's Terrifier.
So that about wraps it up. Plenty more we could have talked about,
Yeah.
but we wanted to keep this short a little bit.
We just handpicked a few that that came to mind and we'd like to talk about. There's a bunch out there though. We could honestly probably do another one of these.
Let us know down below. I'm sure you guys have tons and tons of hidden gems that you think people should check out.
Yeah, please tell us. My favorite thing to do this time of the year is to like discover maybe some horror movies that I haven't seen that people love. There's so many out there. Horror is really oversaturated, and sometimes you have to weed through a lot of shit to find the gems. But I know they're out there, so let us know some recommendations.
Well, thank you guys as always for watching.
Yeah.
See you next time.
See ya.